For the baby, yeah, I just felt like I knew, my gut told me, like, the moment I saw it and it looked a little Caucasian, I was like, I knew it meant it was, had to have been Carver's, and I'm glad it didn't, like, turn into, like, some kind of zombie baby and eat Kenny's face off or something.
I thought it was gonna happen. That's what, 'cause my sister and her boyfriend told me that there was a huge twist, so I was like, oh, I know the baby's gonna eat everyone. Like, that's gonna be the twist.
No.
Yeah, biggest plot twist ever. The baby comes back to
You make
life
it
as
seem
a
like the
zombie.
baby's like jump. You make it sound like the baby's gonna jump from person to person, biting everybody.
Exactly.
I think we can.
Like the bunny and Monty Python.
Yeah, like the Monty Python bunny. Oh god.
It's like, yeah, I think we can outrun a baby.
I don't know.
But did everyone else decide to hold the baby?
Oh, I chose to hold the baby.
I played it the route where I wasn't too eager. I made Clementine nervous, like I don't know how, and
Okay.
she taught me.
I said the same thing. I had to act like, and this is where I would steal Hark's role, as I was still trying to play in character, and I thought, Clem wouldn't know how to hold a baby. Like, she doesn't know how, so let Rebecca at least give her some instructions so she can at least do it right.
Mm-hmm.
So the last thing I wanted to do was I didn't want to drop the baby. That would just everything.
Yes. That would have been terrible.
That would have been the
Never hold
terrifying.
my baby again.
It was right there. That would have. No,
That would have destroyed any relationship you had with Rebecca.
Yeah, as we learned later, as long as that would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we see Jane leave and
Luke and Kenny have their argument because Jane left.
again.
Oh yeah.
I told them both.
Oh, go ahead. Finish up.
I told them both. You guys are both being jerks, and arguing is not helping anything.
Well, I wanted to point this out actually. It's it has to do with Kenny and the baby. Like, I think you mentioned this earlier, Hark, that Kenny always has to find something to depend on. Me and my cousin agreed on this. We felt like Kenny maybe looking to that baby a little too much, and maybe seeing himself as the new father figure. We're actually seeing it something close to that, and it was kind of creepy in a way. Like, we thought, what happens if Rebecca goes? And when it happens, you're like, uh-oh.
But
I mean, he's not gonna eat the kid. Like, he's just gonna take care of it.
We've seen
You never forget this.
We've seen that he can be a good family man, that he can be a good father.
Now that Sarita's gone, he has this baby that he has to clutch on. Yeah, now that Sarita's gone, he has the baby that he has to clutch on now to protect.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But with him and Luke, I agree with you, Kathleen. I was just like, why? There's no reason that we need to have a huge, like, potential falling out argument over the fact of a girl. Really, you're in your 20s. Kenny's like what, in his late 30s now?
Yeah,
the
sudden argument between Kenny and Luke started seeming a little contrived.
Yeah.
Tarzan's gonna be.
Maybe he was just jealous that he was getting some, and I don't know. He was just like, oh, I'm deprived now because
I needed it. I needed more than you.
I'm like, can't you guys have a normal argument? Like, I feel that you're invading on my space and blah blah blah, but they have to scream at each other all the time. I mean, what's up with that?
They made it
adults.
I know, but every argument, including the one that out in the snow, everyone made me feel like one of us was going to go at each other's throats. I was like, really? I don't need this stress right now. Cut the crap and just move. You both are going to die out here if you guys keep fighting, or you just move.
Yeah.
So that I got annoyed with it. I agree with you, Kevin.
David, going back to Jane, I actually really, I mean, you regretted it afterwards, but I really liked that you refused the nail file.
Yeah.
What? Really?
I kind of regret it, but then again,
His reasoning. Explain your reasoning again for the people who didn't watch your LP.
Yeah. I feel that I have my friends to rely on and stuff like that, and she's on her own, so she's gonna need that file much more than I'm gonna do.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, she knows how to use it. She knows all the ins and outs. So I did it
as a favor.
Because I liked her.
Oh, as a favor to her. Yes.
So this is yours. You take it. You hang on to it, and it's gonna save your life.
Dave.
Yeah.
And I also just realized something that I only just now remembered was when she was introducing the nail file. She mentioned that it reminded her of her sister because it was always in her purse.
Yes, it did.
And I just realized it could also be like a sentimental thing. to have her
Could
keep
be.
it. But
I agree with
I chose to. I had her take it though because I felt like it was like some sort of like passing on of kind of like handing the torch sort of deal. But like I think you're ready for this. Like I wanted to show that I appreciated
I
it.
could totally see that too. I was like thinking in those ways as well, but in the end, no. I
And
hope she puts it to good use.
Yeah.
Yes. Because Lauren knows any other choice we've made has had no effect on the plot. Maybe that one nail
that
file
one
actually
thing.
changed something.
Yes.
Yeah, and now she's coming back and like, you hate me, Clementine. Why do you hate me? Why don't
And I'll be
you
like,
take my
yes, my choices matter.
Exactly.
I am a part of this world. But
So I think everybody else did take the nail file.
I
Yeah.
think so.
Mostly
Carson's
'cause,
still out.
I mean, I definitely thought that it could give Clementine would put that to good use. So,
Yeah, it has multiple versatility.
and then after that, we come to the choice of whether to stay for a little bit or to leave the next morning.
I made it very clear in my Let's Play. I've learned this. I've heard this that this is a medical condition that when mothers give born to their newborn babies, they have to at least have a month to rest. So I felt like at that point, maybe if we gave her a couple of days to rest, she might have enough strength to walk. And I don't know if that is true. That they need at least a month to rest
Yeah.
from
That makes
pregnancy.
sense.
But you're in the same boat as Kathleen there, so you got that.
Yeah.
Yay! I win. You all stink. No, I'm joking.
Wait, so now suddenly Kathleen is like the correct answer?
No, I'm just not
What?
saying he's in the same boat as her.
That's
Wait, I don't understand. Why am I the correct answer here?
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying he's
Because Carson needs.
Sexist. No, I'm just kidding.
both boats are not in a good spot. Both boats are in a freaking typhoon. There's just me,
Yeah.
Angel Arts, and Dave in one boat looking at you and Carson in the other boat saying we're both screwed because
Oh,
the
yeah.
plot doesn't change.
Yeah, I forgot to mention the poll for held the baby. It was 93% for holding the baby and 7% David.
Congratulations, Dave. You're the 7%.
Thank you.
And regardless of what you choose, the next scene
There you go
happens
again.
regardless,
Yeah.
the same way, the same amount of
So-
snow, the same amount of snow is on the ground,
Is
regardless.
there any even point in us discussing our choices then, if that's the case? Or...
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, the important part here is what kind of choices you made.
yeah,
Still, I think so. It's still relevant. Just not
Okay.
the outcome is still the same. So
it's relevant to discuss the why, the motivation
Okay.
behind the decisions that you make and why you chose, even if the outcome is still the same. Yes, I agree.
I chose to leave because the gift shop did not look like the best shelter.
Yeah.
We already saw how unstable a deck was, and they had no heating for the snow.
Yeah.
There's no way to make a fire up there, so I thought we just got to find a better place than this.
Yeah. I pretty much agreed as well on leaving right
Yeah.
away because of that.
yeah, me too. I have nothing to add to that actually.
How about you,
Because-
Kathleen?
oh, food.
What was it again?
Did you decide
Sorry.
to stay for a few days to let Rebecca rest, or did you leave?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did.
And your reasoning behind that was just because you thought she would have a better chance, Rebecca would have a better chance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then we find ourselves in the snow regardless. Like we said, Kenny and Luke started arguing, and then
Rebecca's all tired again.
Rebecca's all
regardless.
tired, and she has to sit down, and then Arvo shows up.
Sean Trina. I thought it was funny because I could see him like, there's Arvo walking with his
Yeah.
foot. 2 minutes later, he's still coming towards us.
Yeah.
Really.
During that conversation, what really tipped me off was when he started stuttering and said, "I need bandages."
Bandages,
Yeah,
yes.
bandages.
Mhm.
That was when I was like, "Oh no, oh no." Yeah,
And also because if you do take it, or does he say it as well? If you don't take it, he's just saying like you will regret doing that, or you'll wish you never did that, or something like that.
I don't
'Cause I-
remember.
Because I remember, again, since I very recently played it, that when you take it, he says you will wish you never did that.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, it's very hard for me. It's very hard for me to quote him without
I
saying
see.
that in his accent. I'm sorry.
I don't think he mentions it. If you don't take anything.
Yeah, I don't think he mentioned it at all.
Then I saw Arvo. So you guys maybe it was a bit shaky. Me, the minute I saw Arvo, I was like, oh crap.
Oh, I see. I wanted to give a shout out to Brother Ralph because he actually took the time to translate for me virtually everything that they said.
Oh, sick. Nice.
So I'm gonna
Okay.
go read this out loud to you, and I'll put
In
the
order.
translation. I'll put the translation at the bottom for you. And what's interesting about Brother Ralph, again, thank you, Brother Ralph, for doing this for me, is that when you see the conversation that this group is having, apparently they sound just as scared and just as dysfunctional as Clementine's group.
Wow.
So here's the dialogue, and I'll try very hard. It's going to be hard for me to talk without sort of using a
George,
Russian accent, but yes.
Hey, George, can I say very quickly that that's what I thought made this scene brilliant as far as like having a standoff between two groups was very severe, minimal lack of communication between the two groups to actually express.
Right.
what's that
Neither group seemed to know what the other group was saying, and I think knowing what they were actually saying in Russian is going to actually put a lot of light and perspective into this. So listen to these words. What should we take? Take everything. No, just get what they took back and we'll go. Put the guns down and this can all be fine. Arvo, what are they saying? Maud, what did the girls say? I don't know. Stay alert. Make them understand, Arvo. Arvo, why aren't they listening? They're speaking too fast. I don't understand. Try harder. Nobody shoot. They have a baby? Drop the gun. Buriko, we should never have come here. Now we're all going to die. Tell that one-eyed man to calm down. You don't scare me, you scavengers. Bring it on. This is too much. Buriko, put your gun down. You're going to get us all killed.
Wow.
That was the
That's
dialogue.
amazing. Because the only thing I heard was like really angry Russian voices.
Really angry Russian.
Oh, yeah.
Russians are always speaking angry.
But
And
now,
if you turn around,
yeah,
they
The
only
panic.
heard like Kenny and Luke really angry American
Right.
voices.
you're right. Really
Yeah.
angry Americans.
amazing.
Yes.
I got goosebumps. That's really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is kind of.
Wow.
Thank you. That's
But yeah, when I saw that intense moment going on, I guess you could say I was worried. Like, what were they saying? I don't know what they're saying. I'm a little worried now.
And I was telling George that's what made that scene brilliant. Is I couldn't have communication in that standoff.
Yeah, I didn't understand what they were saying, and it terrified me what they were saying. Like, one looked like probably the guy who was bald and had a lot of tattoos on him. I was worried he was the trigger finger happy Kenny, of that group at least.
You think
Yeah,
that was
it really
Bikuro?
got
You
to
think
me.
that was Bikuro then, or Bikuro, whatever the heck his name was? They mentioned.
Bikuro.
How's it pronounced, St. George? I'm sorry.
I had Buriko. Buriko is
Buriko. Sorry.
Buriko.
My bad.
And I don't know why, but what the sentence that really got to me was the one, they're speaking too fast, I can't understand.
Mm,
Like, they're really
panic.
trying.
they're
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, man, this makes the ending even more tragic.
I know.
Yeah, I
because-
thought they were just like these evil Russians, and now they're just as confused as us. And now
Okay,
they're
I would like to
trying-
now retract, and everybody, when I said that the Russians are always the bad guys, I am so sorry.
No,
I-
take it back now. We heard it from the
It
beginning.
it definitely sounds like the Russian group could easily have been Clementine's group.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you think about it, if we're going back to when you first see Arvo, like, I mean, Arvo reacted initially because he couldn't really trust anyone, even if it is a little girl, and then Jane just comes up, takes his gun, and like holds him at gunpoint. And even as we were letting him go, it looked like Jane was about to like kill him. So going back to his buddies and telling them what happened, if I was in his group, I probably would be ticked too. So it's I'm really happy again that we got this, because it makes you really stop and rethink that scene.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Ralph.
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
that.
it's,
That was really nice.
I should mention this, but I think it was like I loved how I said that Arvo's a little cunning and a little sneaky, that he likes to twist his words around and say like they stole everything from us, and I was like, wait a minute, we didn't steal anything from us. And then it states that Arvo has a bigger fear, if you were nice to Arvo, like except for Logan, that he has a bigger fear of Jane and is more paranoid of Jane than anything. Because I think I remember him saying, "It's a trap, I know it."
Interesting.
Oh yeah, because he thought maybe Jane was somewhere else, like hiding, like his group was.
Yeah.
It's a
now-
trap. Someone like photoshopped the meme right here.
But no, so then And then comes the final decision, and again, I'll let you guys. I'll come back in the middle, but this was again a decision that I did not think clearly, and again was one that was back in the very something I touched upon the very beginning. It was something that became a gut response, and that's So you guys start.
Rebecca. Well, we see that Rebecca is
turning.
She's turning. Yes, she apparently died during that conversation, and she turned super. I thought she turned super fast.
Yes, she did, and that's I don't know. I didn't see. I was waiting for David's reaction. I haven't seen the video, but I freaked out like a little girl. I was like, "Is she dead? Oh my god, she did die!
Yeah.
Oh my god, oh my god!"
The reaction from me came afterwards. I mean, I realized at once that she had to be killed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, it said she died of hypothermia, and I was like, was it really that cold?
Well, it's snowing.
For her.
Well, plus
Been out
she
in the
was.
snow? And the
My mom was telling me because I actually played it. My mom watched some of it and then she kind of chickened out. But she said that that's actually normal that you get really cold when you give birth.
Because it's like losing the body heat and blood.
Yeah, and then the whole added coldness of the environment probably made it even worse.
Oh, okay, so that explains it.
Usually you try to lower their body temperature and make sure they're all good and healthy afterwards, but I didn't see any of that doctoring happening after Rebecca gave birth.
This is why I wish Carlos was alive.
So, and then so can I first ask, what happens if you yell, if you cry for help, if anyone did do that?
Oh,
Kenny shoots her.
Yeah, according to it says Kenny will still shoot.
Kenny shoots her, and then there's the fire. Okay. Then there's the gunfire.
Because what I did was
you shoot her. You shot her.
I shot her, because again, as I told you, it was a gut response. Then only after I shot that I realized, holy, I just in a standoff fired a gun, and and then everyone started firing, and I was like, dang it.
I agree with Logan. I did the same thing. It was a gut reaction. I was saying, I'm sorry, Rebecca, I gotta do this. I gotta save the baby. Boom. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. What did I just do?
Yeah. Exact same stuff. Fired, and then you don't fire a gun in this situation.
No.
If I had a choice to let the baby die and let all of us live, I would let all of us live.
You just because you still hate babies, remember?
No, that's just. I mean, 5 lives for one. That's easy math.
Yeah.
And then what about you, Catherine?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that went through my mind is I gotta shoot Rebecca because the baby's gonna die. That was actually the first thing that went through my mind. But then afterwards, I was like, oh crap, that probably made everyone else shoot at each other. But I don't know. The first thing that was going through my mind is I do not want to see her eat her newborn baby.
Yeah, oh my god.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be more traumatic to Clementine than
especially after. And then how would you do again? I know I asked, but I actually didn't know if that was you reading from the poll or from what did you do, Angel Arts, again?
I was also afraid that if I didn't react, that the baby was going to die. If I didn't react quickly, so I thought that if I called for help, it might be too late. I don't know. That was just my what went through my head.
I loved your reaction, your face. You were like, what did I just do? I was just frozen in fear of what just happened, who was dead and who was alive, who was seriously wounded.
Yeah.
But the poll results for this survivalism shot Rebecca. As of right now, it says 58% shot her and 42% did not shoot her.
Roughly 50-50. Yeah.
Yeah, roughly. And
that's good.
I could understand why people shot her as a gut reaction, and then some people was like, wait a minute, let me hold this back. Somebody help. Oh. Yeah. I just had a new light on Kenny. The moment he shot it, you see this dark, cold look on his eyes.
Because he wanted that baby.
He wanted that baby. I was now. You can never forget that smell.
Oh my god.
There can only be one parent. There can only be one.
But why was it? I thought calling for help would have rose a ruckus, because then part of me maybe if calling for help, maybe they could have said, oh no, there's a walker right there, kill that thing first, then worry about us.
I don't think they would have understood that, the Russians.
Probably true. Make that gesture. Maybe they don't know what that meant.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, I just try to explain it to the Russians that can't understand us. Like that. On see what they can like. I was like, what the hell is he saying?
Clementine should have used her nail file. Like what?
There we go.
We learned the knee trick. Why did we use
The knee trick.
I'm calling it that from now on.
That would have hurt the baby if you used the knee trick.
So
fair enough.
Let's go ahead and assess the episode as a whole. I know some people have already started doing this. Some of us have expressed we didn't like this episode as much as others. David thought that he really enjoyed this episode. Continue on from where you guys left off with that.
Well, for me, I think it was a strong beginning, strong ending, because, like, when you saw that ending, everybody probably was shocked, like, what had we just done? What has happened? But I think it was I say, on a scale of 1 to 10, like, all those, the eighth part of the story, all that 8 part of it, the majority of it, was just so weak. It just... You couldn't connect to it. I love the Jane story. You got to know her, but I just couldn't love the rest of the story. Mm-hmm. So I have to give this another low rating and give it probably a 6.5 out of 10. Mm. I don't know if that's my lowest rating. I don't know what my last rating was. Probably a 6.5 also, but this is another 6.5.
Well, I really liked it. I really liked the slower parts. There was some character development. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We saw Kenny being, all psychotic, then getting a new purpose. I like that. I like getting to know Mike Bonner a bit more. Mm-hmm. And I really like Jane and her story. Mm-hmm. And I really liked how it was written. The conversations, everything from Kenny's stealth monologue. In my case, mm-hmm. to me and Luke and what Jane taught me. And of course all the deaths, like 4 deaths in this episode. Mm-hmm. Dying left and right, some drama, some good zombies, great cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Great cliffhanger, that's why I said strong ending.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I did.
The episode felt a little long. I don't know why. Again, the time I played it, whatever. It felt a little bit longer to me than the third episode. Whether or not game length wise, that's not true or not. It felt longer to me because it had more what I like, which is actual talking, getting to know mm-hmm. people more. Definitely, again, was very Jane centric. Even though I wish I could have learned a bit more about Mike. Agreeing with Kathleen, some of the drama felt a bit artificial, mm-hmm. like just put in for the heck of it. And the thought didn't cross my mind until we started this podcast when you were mentioning it. But yeah, I felt like I was very heavily railroaded in a particular plot. Like I wasn't able to actually change much with what I did. Now again, going with Dave, I think it still matters to me as a person why I would have made those choices. Just the consequences of them didn't even seem negligible at best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kathleen.
Okay. Well, one thing that I really liked about it was all the Jane scenes. Not just because I love Jane, but also just because her character development was really great, in my opinion. I think I liked what they did with her character. Unfortunately, as I was kind of thinking about what it was that kind of made me feel like the steady decline in how I've felt about all these episodes is the character drama and how it feels very forced and how I don't feel as though I can relate to the conflicts. It gets annoying when the only conflict is just telling 2 emotional people to stop bitching at each other. Like it just it feels very forced, and it was very, very. I feel like this episode was the most forced with that conflict, and the fact that Kenny was the head of that conflict in this episode really disturbed me because I like Kenny, and I felt like he just kind of got thrown under the bus as a scapegoat.
Yeah.
And it wasn't enjoyable at all. It wasn't even enjoyable as a conflict to see him go through that for me personally. Like I thought it was just annoying. So I hope that they will avoid having these emotional outbursts as a center of conflict in future episodes. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Given what I had said earlier about my complaint about your choices not seeming to matter in this episode, I do actually agree with David in the sense that not all choices do have to result in a difference, like a branching story. And I actually defended a lot of season 1 because there did exist some choices that didn't seem to matter. However, the sheer amount of those is what I had a problem with, because I don't mind it if that happens every once in a while, but for an episode that for me it seemed like almost every single one of your choices didn't have much of an impact at all, it was the sheer number that I think I had a problem with.
It makes me think of the Titanfall campaign. Your decisions don't matter no matter what if you win or lose.
Yeah. So I think that was there again. There were a lot of really nice things about the game. Like, it did slow some of the story down, so you could have those moments with Mike and you could have those moments with Jane. But I think just the choices that you were given that didn't seem to, there weren't enough choices for me that seemed to impact the story for me to it was a little jarring for me because of that. So
yeah.
All right. And can I say, like, one thing I did actually just note now was that I noted that that whereas, like, back in season 1 there'd be, like, months to weeks long of time in between each episode, for this episode it's been pretty much instant right after another, building off each other this season. So it's a lot more.
Yeah.
What's the word? More concentrated, like
on the now.
Yeah.
And I want to actually ask a question to Logan on that. Would you, excluding episode 1, would you say that season 2 is more like, let's just make it day after day after day, over like season 1 it's maybe months after weeks after maybe a couple days?
Well, I think it's because season 1, that was when it seemed like, since season 1 that everyone was all panicked. Season 1 was like the big transition of people getting used to the idea of a zombie apocalypse. Now, so people weren't all immediately hostile, they're still trying to grab onto that. But in season 2, we're I think at least over a year into the zombie apocalypse, and pretty much everyone has figured out what they want to do or what type of person they're going to be, which is why conflicts are going to arise much more frequently than when it was first starting off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what made this episode a little bit difficult for me to like is I loved how the character development was good, but like what Hark said with no matter what your decisions were, they don't make a difference. It's only like what you would choose in that scenario. I felt like this story is just not really that strong. It's just telling you, well, you can make this decision, but it's not going to make any big difference because we're just going to make it this overall. What's going to happen? And I didn't like that. I want it to be like, your decision will affect this later, because if you do this good thing, it could be something bad later. If you do this bad thing, it could be something good later, for all we know. And I like that kind of decision. But the character development, getting to know things, and these conflicts that were arising in the group really didn't make it like this is something that could last for a while. It just made it something like, okay, this is going to end very bad and I don't want to be a part of this.
So, given all that, what are your predictions for the final episode of this season?
This is what I've been waiting for, but I want to hear someone else's first.
Okay, I can go first.
Go ahead.
I think that, first of all, the only survivors of this gunfight is going to be, I think, Arvo, Clementine, Luke, and Kenny. Yeah.
Because Kenny is Mr. Death. He's Hunk somehow and wasn't in the Walking Dead world.
I think we need that. I think there's going to be a choice between Kenny and Luke.
There has to be.
I think there is. Yeah, I think there is.
So they have to have those two alive.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I think.
My big prediction. I knew when this firefight or gunfight, whichever you prefer to call it, happened, I was ready to make predictions. I have already predicted, and Hark is going to hate me for this, I predict Luke is going to die in episode 5. Clementine's going to survive. half of the Russian group's going to be dead. I knew Arvo was going to be alive somehow because he doesn't have a gun. Luke will be injured. Like he'll have like some kind of injury on him. Clementine will not be injured at all, but Kenny will be injured. Mike will be severely injured to the point where he will die. He will die. Bonnie will be at the borders between she can live or she can die, one or the other, and it's just going to be to the point where you find what happened to Krista. Finally, you get to see what happened to Krista.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for this. I want to see her alive in that episode.
Did she mention she was trying to go for Wellington as well?
Yeah, she is going to Wellington also. So I have a feeling she's going to be there. And I feel like it's going to come to this very conflicting choice. Like what David said, you're going to have to choose a very crucial moment. Like, as an example, do you choose Luke or do you choose Kenny? And if you choose this one, the other one will die. But I feel like most people are going to choose Kenny for some reason.
And thinking more about it throughout this whole podcast, when you mentioned it, Kathleen, I'm predicting. I think Clementine's going to end up alone as well at the end of this whole thing. Like, sad from start to end.
No, I think David's the one that suggested that.
Or was it David that he was going to?
Yeah.
I thought
alone or with Jane.
Or with Jane. Okay, sorry. I thought with the episode 1 thing.
I don't see Jane coming back in this episode. I think they're going to put Molly.
All right, then. So then, moving on with that, then my prediction, thinking about when someone mentioned it in this podcast, is I think that Clementine's going to end up alone at the end of episode 5, and so then if you were to look at the entire season 2, you're just going to see this isolated series of really bad incidents and things that just are going to change Clementine even more, hardening, like just having her transition even further into this. Unfortunately, this is the way the world is now mindset.
Yeah.
I think that's a very likely scenario. I think that the possibilities of Luke is probably going to die, I think, which I don't want him to because I like Luke, but I just have this feeling that he's going to die. And I really want Jane to come back, but I don't think that she is. I think that she was kind of like this set-in character, even though she's really likable.
Molly character.
Yeah, and like Molly, even though she was really likable, they never really brought her back, which is weird. I think that what happened with Krista, I think that's going to be brought to light. I think that there's more to that situation. Like that whole month or like that whole year is just in the dark, and they don't really cover, they imply that something happened to her child, but they don't really discuss it. And I think that something really morbid happened there, and they're going to really talk about that. I think she's been kind of holding that in. But when I saw her look at that baby for the first time, I saw, that was the first thing that I thought of. I thought, what happened to Krista's baby? That was what she was thinking of when she first saw that child. That's what I thought. So I think that she's going to have to battle with the fear of losing this new baby because of what she's seen in the past. And they're going to bring that up. And I think that we're obviously going to get reunited with Krista because, because they kind of left that hanging. And I think Kenny will survive, but or at least I hope he will, because I think his beard still makes him immortal.
I don't know. I'm just saying, zombies are one thing. Russians with guns, entirely different concept.
But his beard blocks the bullets. So
you have to be Chuck Norris of Walking Dead. You realize that?
He is. Okay.
Kenny cheats death. It's somehow some magical power. He cheats death. He is the hunk of Resident Evil.
Okay. Yes.
So, and I think that, I agree. I think Arvo, those of you said that Arvo is probably going to survive. I think he's going to survive, but I think a bunch of the Russians are probably going to die. But I think that some of the Russians are going to survive so that you can kind of get the sense of, their confusion, hopefully.
Especially from that conversation.
So,
probably going to be the woman that survives. Because she wasn't evil, as we've heard.
Oh, and I think Bonnie's going to die, too.
Yeah.
But I don't want her to die, but I think she will.
Yeah.
I think most people are going to die. So there you go.
It's a coin flip, really. It's a coin flip.
But personally looking at it, I think that Clementine's group is in a far more position to lose. I think they're going to lose a lot more people than the Russians are, because the Russians have trees, they have cover, and literally they have us from all angles, elevation. We're just in the middle of a little pit.
Treebeard is in the background.
Yeah, and
Sorry, did anyone get that reference?
Yes,
No?
I got it. I got it.
Was he in the background, Tree Beard? I didn't see him.
No, yeah.
He was Russian.
He's like,
didn't you
oh,
know?
there's a tree right over there. That must be Treebeard.
That's what I thought when you said they have the trees. I was like, Treebeard has his minions.
But no, I definitely think they're at an incredibly disadvantage. They have pistols, they have automatic weapons, they have way.
Well, that's not true.
Bonnie does have the automatic weapon.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not true.
I just feel like that they're both outnumbered and outgunned, and again outmaneuvered there.
But Hark knows what I'm talking about. That Kenny is somehow the hunk of Resident Evil. He knows what I mean by that reference. He cheats death so many times.
So,
I wouldn't be surprised if he cheated death this time.
So what are your? I'm sorry, I actually didn't heard. I don't know if I heard them or not. What are your predictions then, George?
Well, before I go into my predictions, because of what Kathleen just said about Krista, Brother Ralph also wrote in to me, which I'm going to share his predictions about Krista, and he was saying that he thinks that Krista, when she lost the baby, he thinks that she kind of blames Clementine for it, and he thinks that the topic, the main plot, and how they're going to close season 2 is Clementine will try to get this baby to Krista, so that it all comes full circle. She lost her baby. Clementine will find out that Krista's in Wellington. Clementine will give her the babies for Krista to have a second chance at taking care of one. So that's
with Kenny.
I'm sorry. With Kenny, sure. With Kenny, sure. Why not?
That would make.
Kenny's gonna be the daddy.
But
I'm your father now.
I also think that it's very possible that everybody's around Clementine is going to eventually die in season 1, including Luke. As much as I'd hate to admit it, leaving Clementine by herself. I don't know if that will also include the baby. It very well could, unfortunately.
Clementine will sacrifice the baby. I gotta live.
I do foresee a choice, a possible choice choosing between Kenny and Luke. But yeah, I mean, Bonnie, I think of all of the characters, I think Bonnie's probably the one that I think is going to end up dying the most.
What about Mike?
Well, we don't know.
I feel like Mike will probably die before Kenny or Luke does.
The minority characters and then the woman. That's like how it always happens. The minority characters die first, and the woman die.
My logic with that is we know a lot about Bonnie because we got to play as her. We got to learn a bit about her past and whatnot. But I still have quite a few questions about. I want to learn more about Mike. So I think maybe for that they'll keep him around a bit longer than Bonnie, just so I can get a little more attached to him.
The really interesting thing is, and Brownie points to all of you viewers out there who caught this. If you look very carefully in this episode, and I don't know if it's just because the artist decided to redraw this and it's not actually the same one, but in the scene where Clementine and Jane are outside and they're trying to rescue Sarah and Luke, you catch a glimpse of a trailer which looks suspiciously exactly like the trailer that Lily was driving.
Yes!
Suspiciously exactly like it.
Yes, now I need to go back and look. I need to go back and look.
I need to look at that.
I knew Lily's alive. I knew it. Thank you.
Yeah, I will try to post it up so you can see. But apparently,
show the video highlight right there.
Why would the artist make it look like exactly the same one? I don't know. But I'm just throwing it out there that we may see Lily. Who knows?
I would be so happy. You'll hear me have a fan guess through the whole video.
I'm wondering if Lily ends up like Lily and Krista end up running into each other and they end up teaming up because Krista never knew Lily. She heard about Lily through that last conversation that you were having in episode 5 of season 1.
Oh, but then Kenny's gonna get all.
Although I don't even think that Kenny and Lee even mentioned Lily's name. So.
But I can definitely see them coming, and Kenny steps in, and a huge conflict happens.
That would be interesting if that were to happen. Yes.
Yeah, I can't find a picture anywhere, so those people must have had some smart eyes. Okay, sorry.
I'm trying to think what I was trying to say. What was I was about to mention something. With Lily, God, it was right into my time. Dang it.
I would be so happy if I get to see her in episode 5. I would. You would never hear the end of it. Let's say it's just like I'm in like the half point of the video. I'll just talk the whole time through about it with Lily. I was like, Lily, you were like the idol of my
Season 2 will end and it'll just be Clementine and Lily.
Oh.
That would be a twist.
Crap.
But Lily's a psycho.
Logan, don't lose your thought again.
No, I did because I remembered it. I remembered it, then I felt really dumb because it was just a dumb joke I was going to say, and I have to force it. I was going to say, Carson, you see her hair. It's like, oh my gosh, she turns around, it's been so long, she has a beard now. Like, all over again.
Which is why she would be invincible. That's why she's still
alive. The beard.
She grew the beard.
She's got a beard as well.
I remember my big thought, and it turns out to just be a dumb joke. Dang it.
It's okay.
I love it.
So,
no.
So we'll talk about more of our predictions about season 3 in our next podcast. So save your predictions for season 3 then. But I do want to ask you, because they have announced that there is going to be a season 3. What are your thoughts about them deciding to have a season 3? Are you happy, or
I'll let someone know.
Do you have?
I am super happy.
You're happy.
The moment I heard that, I was like, "Yay!" That means Clementine probably survived even longer because she's like the central character of the whole story, I guess you could say. And this is what I predicted. Like the moment they start that, it'll start like what they did with season 2. She'll be in the same age, and then she'll grow older. And I'm predicting she's going to be at least 14 or 16, somewhere around there. She has to be in her teens by then. She'll be a cold-blooded hard killer by then.
She'll be her own Jane.
Yeah, she'll be her own Jane.
She'll be Ellie with like the little shiv.
She'll be Ellie. Yeah.
I got my little shiv. I'm ready.
What's it? Part of me is actually happy because it means I get to do this with you guys some more, and I find these podcasts really fun to do.
Yay.
If we invite you, Logan.
Oh,
you don't want anymore, Logan.
I don't know.
I heard you stole the medicine, Logan.
Once I found out that you stole from the Russians, I'm like, oh.
I don't know.
We're gonna cut you off.
I've been booed off the island now.
Never good enough.
Part of me is happy because I gotta do this. It's fun.
Yes.
I'm happy because I want to see the show be able to I want the show to be like season 1 was for me. Again, just seeing us all go back and forth in season 2, and unfortunately seeing the disappointments that have happened. Not entirely disappointment, but I think a lot of it was us getting our expectations up from season 1, and it's very hard to try and recreate that. But part of me would like them to have learned like which writers are the best writers for this, which ones.
So again, like this prototype to season 3.
Kind of like this episode was my Get Your Crap Together episode. I want to say this might be their Get Their Crap Together season.
Yes.
To build up for a third one, and that third one will be the trilogy, and then that'll be it.
Yeah.
Yes. They can't do a season 4 after that. It'd be a terrible idea.
Depends. So.
Depends. Yeah, it depends. I'm really excited for. I'm glad that they're making a season 3 because even though I've said that I've been disappointed with these episodes, I've still enjoyed playing them.
Yeah.
Like I think it's like you said, you just had such high expectations because of season 1, and those expectations were just lowered. But despite that, this game has been a lot of fun and totally worth playing.
Yeah.
And I think that they're hopefully going to learn from some of their mistakes from the second season and be like, okay, we need to hire, the writers from season 1 and focus on what was strong about season 1
right.
and take that into season 3. So
imaginary high five to Kathleen.
How about you, David?
For me, okay, let's see. Let's get my thoughts here. I'm happy that they are doing a season 3. I hope. The Walking Dead for me is about difficult choices and difficult themes that they got going in each episode and each season. So as long as they got good morally gray scenarios to put us in, just go for it. That's the main thing for me. I like character development, but I play these games mostly because I want to soul search myself a bit.
Yeah,
Soul searching.
What choices I'm going to make in very, very difficult situations. And as long as they can keep on coming up with good scenarios for that, then I'm all for it. Totally. And of course, I like the characters, so...
Yeah.
I have to agree with David on this. I'm hoping they'll do definitely more of this. And what I want to see, though, and I mentioned this earlier, I want to see Clem find, like, that love interest that she finds in her mid-teens. I want to see that happen.
Yay! But
Well,
I
exactly,
think...
because... Yeah,
biggest plot twist ever. Her secret
it's a part of growing up, and you want to see, it's kind of like, as a parent, you kind of want to see your children be happy and grow up old, and I think that's part of, like, wanting to see her grow up.
We develop this protective nature. We want her to.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's our little child, our little project.
And you know what, I couldn't agree with you more, David, because that's one of the reasons why this is one of my favorite PC game series to date and why I want to do Mass Effect for a similar reason is because not only do I get to learn about their world and the plots, I get to learn about myself, things that maybe I wouldn't have even known had I've learned from season 1. I've learned things about myself I never even knew starting into the game, and I leave going, I never knew that about myself, and I love that. That's part of my most favorite. Why I keep returning to those why I keep returning to the series.
I just can't wait to do the Game of Thrones series for this.
Game of Thrones, 12 people dead per episode.
All characters die every episode, and you get new characters.
You know what? I could actually see that, a different protagonist for each episode.
Yep.
That would be.
All right, but let's go back to Walking Dead. But Hark, do you agree with me? Do you think in season 3 they will find a love interest for Clem in that?
I think that would make the plot interesting, especially if the whole theme of season 3 ends up being a coming of age story for Clementine, where she rises from the ashes and becomes a woman, or at least watches her starting to become an adult.
An adult, according to some countries, the adult age is 15
right, a teenager. I mean,
Right,
I know that the graphic novel series itself has only a certain period of time has passed within the graphic novel, so I don't think that we're gonna jump too far in the future because of that.
I mean, we already have jumped really far in the future if you think about the graphic novels. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
I am happy that we're getting a season 3. I'm just cautious and am crossing my fingers that whatever Telltale decides to do, they'll end on a high note and not do what a lot of TV series does, which is just keep running a season after season after
like
season
Lost,
until it just goes downhill, instead of just ending it while it's leaving the viewers wanting more, but still having some sort of closure. But closure, but still leaving the viewers wanting more. So if they're able to do that with a season 3 and it doesn't just go down like that, then more power to them. I am all for that. And as Kathleen said, I think that in order to do that, they need to take a good look at what worked for season 1 and what worked for season 2, because a lot of stuff that worked in season 1 I think was absent in season 2, and hopefully they'll fix that in season 3. So.
Well, I'll just be glad we get to do this more often in season 3.
Yeah. And who knows, if we do decide to do a season 3, maybe we'll have a different guest viewer hang out with us too. Who knows? We'll see how that works. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Any other last minute thoughts before we close? Any other topics?
I do have a last minute thought on episode 4 at the ending. I'm just curious if they ever did get to that town, or if they passed it, or were they getting close to it?
They're getting close to the town in the episode ending.
They're getting close. So.
Yeah, because I think I remember them saying if we had gotten there early, and like if you had chose to wait and let her rest up, they said we could have gotten there earlier and gotten more supplies. I was like thinking, so did they pass the town?
No, I think they were just really close to getting to it. I think they were just.
They're complaining about something, no matter what.
I think they were saying they would have arrived there sooner. They haven't quite arrived there, but they would have gotten there before it got way too cold, before the weather got too harsh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that I think they were probably at the midpoint of either that town or they were getting close to Wellington. I'm hoping the town is Wellington.
I have a feeling it might be.
That would make so much sense. The next episode, oh, you asking what it's called?
No, we'll see in the next episode.
Yeah.
Isn't it called like No Turning Back?
Yeah, No Going Back.
No Going Back.
Written by Nick Bretkin, who co-wrote episode 1 but wrote episode 2. I personally love 1 and 2. I thought those were the best.
Yeah, 1 and 2 are my favorites so far.
So I would hope they keep Nick Bretkin around. He is really good, and he also wrote 400 Days episodes.
Oh,
so
okay.
I want him to be staying. I want him to stay around. He's really good at what he does.
So I think we should start wrapping up then for Dave's sake.
Yep. So all right. So again, thank you guys for joining us today. It's always great to have you. It's actually really late or early in the morning for David, so he's been such
the
a
sun is coming
trooper.
up, you know.
Such a trooper. It's like what, 4 in the morning for you at the moment, David? 5 in the morning for David.
Wow.
So thank you so much, David, for doing this.
It's okay.
And thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys were entertained, and again, maybe learned a thing or two. We'll be back one more time when this season wraps up, so we're all very excited for that, so stay tuned. All right guys, thanks again, and until next time, love yourselves and love each other.